Now, you got a guy in Minneapolis running the PD there. His name is Chief Brian O'Hara. He's a Jersey guy, and he looks to be a very honest guy. He worked his way up in the Newark Police Department, and now he works for radical leftists. So if he doesn't toe the radical left line, then he's not going to be police chief. So unfortunately, Mr. O'Hara is doing that. He's not telling the American people what is actually happening in his city, Minneapolis. He's not telling them. He is misleading. Roll the tape.
The vice president and Secretary Noem said Minneapolis is uniquely chaotic, but they also pointed to sanctuary city policies and said that if those policies weren't in place, these are policies that prohibit you from assisting federal immigration operations, that none of this would really be happening. How do you respond to that claim that because of these sanctuary city policies, you are being forced into this position?
Well, there's policies and laws that have been the case here for decades, and it's not on the Minneapolis Police Department or local law enforcement, to hand folks over that are in jails. The city police do not operate a jail. That's at the county level, and the prisons are at the state level. So we are complying with the law as we have been for many years. And I don't know what else could possibly be asked of this very, very understaffed and overstretched police department.
No, they're not. Okay? If ICE issues a detainer, then your force is obligated under law to detain whatever the federal government wants detained, whomever, and then when I show up, you hand it to them. That's federal law. But in Minneapolis, they don't recognize that law. They recognize something called separation ordinance. Okay? This is a local law that basically says no cops can cooperate with federal on any immigration issue whatsoever. Nothing. Zero. Now, O'Hara should have said that because that's exactly the truth. In Minneapolis, the police have been ordered by an ordinance, local ordinance, not to cooperate with the federal government on anything. But what O'Hara does in that interview, all right, on Face the Nation with the very liberal Margaret Brennan, who doesn't know enough to challenge the chief and couldn't care less, okay, what he says is, oh, it's not the cops. We can't tell the jails and the prisons what to do. Bull. Bull. The police have jurisdiction. They can walk in and take a prisoner who has a warrant by the federal government. Every police department in the country can do that. But O'Hara says, we can't. It's the jails that are responsible. The jails aren't responsible. You see? And there's Margaret Brennan. Like this. Why is she on that program? Why? She doesn't know. I will submit that she doesn't know what the separation ordinance is in Minneapolis. She doesn't know. And her producers don't, like my producers do, don't give her the information so she cannot digest it. Because in Margaret's mind, what she wants is to do a sympathetic interview with Chief O'Hara to make the federal government look bad. That's what Margaret wants, because Margaret is an avowed liberal woman, which is fine. She has a total right to be an avowed liberal woman, but she is not practicing her profession the way she should. She's a journalist. That overrides the liberal woman part of it, or should, but it doesn't in America. Now let's get back to O'Hara. Now, if O'Hara would face me, and I'm going to put in a call to him for next week, I would be gentle on a chief. I wouldn't attack a chief. And we're going to try to get him on, okay? On BillO'Reilly.com, No Spin News. My new YouTube channel is enormous, but we have other, linear stuff that we do all over the world. So the chief is there, and I'm here, and we're interviewing. And I go, Chief, why didn't you explain what the separation ordinance is? Why? Why did you ignore that and try to blame the Minneapolis jailers and the state of Minnesota prisoners for the problem when you know that's not true? You know, if you sent your cops into a jail in Minneapolis and handed over a criminal migrant to the feds, you get fired by the mayor, Jacob Fry. You know that, correct? I'd like to hear what the chief had to say about that, wouldn't you? But you're not going to get that. O'Hara will go to every left-wing outlet he can go, where he knows he won't be challenged, and he can say the most ridiculous stuff on earth. It's the jail's fault. Not our fault. The jail's fault. Come on. This happens over and over, and not just O'Hara. I'm picking on O'Hara because he's in the news cycle right now. This is everywhere. And they're the journalists are the last line of defense. They're the ones that are supposed to be saying, well, wait a minute here. That's not really what the situation is about. All right? The cliche is gaslighting, that you create a false scenario and you sell it to the public, which happens so much in journalism today. It's shocking because it's all about ideology. In my opinion, I could be wrong because I don't know the man, Brian O'Hara, is making a nice living as the police chief of Minneapolis. He's not going to go up against what he's ordered to do because he wants the paycheck. Okay? He's not going to say, hey, I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm not going to go out there and mislead anybody. He's not going to do it. I wish he would. I'd do it if I were him. But he's not. And this is now the norm.